Hello, fellow traders. Tis I, TheRumpledOne, coming to you Monday, October the 12th. The year's 2020. Let's talk about trading. Wrong until right. Now, I usually don't like to talk about right and wrong or good and bad when it comes to trading or most things in life for that matter. Usually I like to talk about in trading it's profitable or unprofitable, or in life it's like preferable versus unpreferable. So I guess really I might could have titled this unprofitable until profitable. But before we get too far into it, I just want you to know that these videos are for educational purposes only, and your results may differ from mine. Trading is extremely risky. You can lose all of your money. So if you need trading, investment, or financial advice, seek the advice of an accredited financial professional. In fact, Walmart and I were having a conversation, and he said something. I said, yeah, you're going to be wrong until you're right. Because I often joke that when I go to put a trade on, what I should do is instead of putting the trade on, I should make it so the trade goes live in about an hour. And that would probably save me a lot of grief um, when I'm trading, because it's not that I am quote unquote wrong. It's just my timing sometime is off. And if I would have just waited, then if I would have taken the trade at the same level, it would have moved in my direction, as opposed to going, 10 or 20 pips or more in the other direction before heading back to my direction. So as soon as you put a trade on, basically you're going to be unprofitable because you're going to have to pay the commission or the spread. So you're going to be underwater. So quote unquote, you're wrong. And then you just have to wait until you're right. Because the thing about the market is you never know if you're wrong, but you know when you're right. Now, that might sound funny, but if you think about it, you put a trade on and it goes against you. Well, were you wrong? You don't know, because maybe if you wait a little bit longer, you'll be able to get out with a profit. So it's kind of something that maybe you don't look at it that way, you haven't looked at it that way, but it's one way to look at it. Because in trading it's a never ending game. It's not like a defined game like football, there's so much time, or baseball, there's so many innings, or in certain games like cornhole until a certain score is reached. In trading, you jump in when you want to, and then you jump out when you want to, unless the market wipes you out. But those are the two options. So, as the captain would say from Cool Hand Luke, it's all up to you. So, when you put a trade on, just remember that it's going to be wrong until it proves you right. And the question is just how wrong are you going to allow that trade to go? Because that gets right into, you know, this chart, the risk management. How much are you willing to lose on that trade? You put the trade on, you go, okay, I'll lose 10 pips, or I'll lose 7 pips, or I'll lose 3 pips, or I'll lose 1 pip. Just whatever you do, you put that on, you enter the trade. And so you may or may not decide when to take profit. You might have some type of exit playbook or exit strategy where after the price moves a certain amount, you take a certain amount, or you just take everything that it gives you. Because you really can't control the outcome of a trade. You put it on, you're down, you're wrong. And if the market smiles upon you and you have a chance to take that profit before it takes it back, it was luck because you didn't control that outcome. A lot of people like to argue about it, but I don't argue about much anymore. It's pointless. Most people's minds aren't open to change, so what's the point in arguing? Unless, why enter an argument unless you're willing to change your belief and the other person's also willing to change? Otherwise, it's just pointless argument. So in trading, I mean, in a way, it's an argument if you think about it, because one person thinks it's going to go up and the other one thinks it's going to go down, and you just have to wait and see. And who knows, over the course of a few minutes or a few hours or a few days or weeks or months, they both could be right. They both could exit their trades with profit. So the gap on the pound dollar filled. Remember, we showed that last night that it had gapped down. It filled and then some. We're only 16 pips off the high. Now let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3 pairs that have not filled the gap. And you can see we're still putting in that first trading day of the week's range right here. We broke out of yesterday's high, or Friday's high. And you can see the first trading day of the year's range right here. We're 48 pips below it. 177 pips below the yearly open and 156 above the monthly open. So nice move there this month on the pound. You can see we came down, we touched, and we actually got through that weekly inside bar high, and then it shot out like a rocket. You know, I was really thinking it was going to break the 130, you know, the 13000, but it didn't. My mistake for thinking, right? And on the range, it is a holiday, Columbus Day, Indigenous Peoples Day. I guess it's Thanksgiving in Canada or something like that. So you can see here we've only got 77 pip range, only 2 pairs over 100. And look at this, the pound yen only has a 59 pip range. That's crazy. The beast, only 59 pips. But the new beast is at 144, the pound New Zealand. We never hit that pivot point. That was one of the reasons why I thought it was going to crack that triple O, because it has to take out the pivot. It still might sometime this week. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. But it did close that gap once again, so those buy triggers paid off. Red rat time. We're in that upper rat zone. Large enough range at 77. Why do I have that on the yen? Okay, weekly pivot 129.77. We haven't hit it. Daily pivot 129.97. We haven't hit it. So got a couple of open pivots right now. I must have been doing something with the yen. I don't remember what. But here we go. There's the missed pivot here on the daily. And there's the missed pivot on the weekly so far. But it's like we've got a pretty good chance taking those out. I think we had a missed pivot way back here. It looks like we took that one out. Not much of an upper wick zone, as you can see, but price was shooting back and forth across it. And on one of the trading charts here, we've got it looking at H1. You see we crossed that Walmart line here. Nice trade to the north. Okay, I remember there was something I had here. I was showing the new indicator that I had written. You're a fool trading without a stop loss indicator. One of my fun ones that I like to put up. So if you have it, there you go right there. And where is... Oh, there we go. We're on the 1 minute chart. I'll switch that back to the 1 hour. So you see here, there was that nice move to the upside, taking that first horizontal line that it crosses. You can see here, there's a move to the downside and then turn around to the upside that hour. So once again, traders, if you're new to trading, I know you've probably been searching different forums. There's a whole bunch of different indicators, and some are really cool looking with all kind of stuff on the charts. But you really turn that off for a second. You really don't need them. What did I do there? Exit playbook, turn off true. Idiot mode. Oh, I think I have that. So you really don't turn it off. You'd have to delete it. So maybe I'll just take it off the chart for now. You can always put it back on at another time. But if you are just beginning, you want to keep it simple. You want to cut down all the variables. So you pick one pair and you trade that pair and you stick with that pair. You pick one method and you stick with that method. So I always say, just start trading horizontal lines. And that's all you have to do. I mean, you don't have to learn about any other indicator. It's just simple. You see, on the H1 time frame, if price hits this line at 60, you go short. There's nothing to think about. You just do it. You put your stop loss in place, and then either you win or you lose, because that's all that's going to happen. And once you master that simple horizontal line trade, as I believe I mentioned yesterday, then you'll have most of what you need, if not all of what you need, to be a profitable trader. You don't have to make it more difficult. You don't have to learn a bunch of concepts and a bunch of this crosses that, blah, blah, blah kind of stuff. Just learn to trade at the line. And I'm trying to remember if there was any questions. I don't think I had any questions. I had some nice comments. They're always appreciated. Thank you. Some people have, I guess it was the 1 pip video that people needed to hear that message about taking profit and being happy with 1 or 2 pips. In fact, Walmart and I were trading earlier, and the way the pound was moving, let's see. It's about 9 o'clock my time. I think we started about 4 o'clock my time. So get 9, 8, 7, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Yeah, so we were trading here, and there just wasn't hardly any movement at all. We were just taking, 1 or 2 pips. It's like if you get in the trade, it'd give you a chance to take 1 or 2 pips, and if you didn't take it quick, it would take it right back. So we were just, and then we would wait, and then we just, the signals, there just wasn't that much movement. I mean, you can see here it only moved to maybe 4 or 5 pips off of that high, which meant after spread, maybe you had a chance to get, 2 or 3 pips. So it was kind of tough sledding. In fact, that's one of the reasons Walmart's not here. It's like, why trade on a day like today? He had other things to do anyway. So some of us, though, are gluttons for punishment, and we just keep trading. It's in our blood. I guess I'm an addict too. 12-step program for traders, right? But I think the thing about, there's probably not a 12-step program for traders because they probably crap out at a game long before they would get to that point. So anyway, fellow traders, just remember, you're wrong until you're right when you're trading these, when you're trading, because you just don't know. But one thing you do know is it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. And if you're new here, first time, welcome aboard. Click subscribe, click like, and then click share to send this video all over the forum space for trading. This is TheRumpledOne, over and out.